Alabama is a brand. Well, Alabama is a brand, and this is a product, and this is a product, and this is a product, and that's also in play here, and that's also in play here. And Alabama is in, and Miami right now is out. And Alabama is in, and Miami right now is out. And Alabama is in, and Miami right now is out.
I've got bad news for anyone in the ACC and anyone in college football right now. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can block this front four from Miami. This is easily the best defensive line in college football.
Malachi!
There's no team in the country that looks like Miami, guys. There's no team in the country that looks like Miami, guys. There's no team in the country that looks like Miami, guys. There is no team that looks like Miami. There is no team that looks like Miami. They have what I would affectionately refer to as creatures. They have what I would affectionately refer to as creatures. Standing field level, because I hadn't seen Miami in person this year in a game. They're a different team than anyone. I have seen Ohio State and Texas in person this year. I have seen Bama in person. I've seen Georgia in person. I've seen Michigan in person. There is no team that looks like Miami. There is no team that big and that fast and that physical and that aggressive as Miami. They have what I would affectionately refer to as creatures all over the place.
I think that Miami has very few ways they're going to lose. I think if you're going to beat Miami, a lot of things have to break your way. There's a lot of boxes you got to check to beat Miami. Honestly, man, what I've seen Miami do when you zoom out here is build a roster that has, based on what I saw last night, a pretty sizable gap between what they have talent-wise and the rest of the ACC has talent-wise.
Malachi!
Miami last year didn't lose games. He's pulled a thread count. Might be the number one seed. Football player wins the ACC. Y'all, they might be the number one seed. ACC. Y'all, they might be the number one seed. ACC. Y'all, they might be the number one seed. I'm going to let that sit for a second. Miami might be the top seed in the college football playoff on Selection Sunday. I'm going to let that sit for a second. Miami, a team that makes college football play good right now. Okay.
I almost put them in pen as an undefeated regular season team.
Talking about Miami, like you know what their defense is going to bring. And let's not act like this thing is static. Let's not act like this season doesn't change. Miami is the clear winner in the first part of the season to me. Like, it's clear. They've played a good schedule. They've played a really good schedule up until this point. They've been extremely dominant up until this point. That's why, to me, they're the number one team in the country. They're the number one team in the country.
Let's go to the highest grade player, starting off with the Miami Hurricanes. Their highest grade player was safety Jacoby Thomas at a 92 grade. Ruben Bain Jr. Once again,
Shocker.
Every single game this year, this guy has had a 90-plus PFF grade. Once again, 90.1 right there. Malachi Toney, the true freshman star at wide receiver, 85.3. Bryce Fitzgerald, the safety, 80.4. Akeem Mesidor, the other edge rushers, also had a great year so far, 76.8. And Carson Beck, who is currently in second place in Heisman odds right now on DraftKings Sportsbook with a 74.5 grade in the win for the Hurricane.
As we've seen every week from Miami, is just dominance in the trenches. And I'm going to start on the offensive side. Once again, a 75.5 pass blocking grade as a unit. My stat that tells the story in this one is Carson Beck, A, was not sacked, and B, was only hit in the pocket one time. He was knocked down once this entire game. Now, part of it, obviously, is the offensive line being great, and Beck was only pressured on 6 out of his 30 dropbacks. And the craziest part to me is that 20% pressure rate, that's actually the highest Miami's allowed this season, which is just silly. So part of it, obviously, is their great offensive line. And the other part is Carson Beck with a 2.24 second average time to throw. He is seeing the field so clearly. He's making throws downfield when they're there, but otherwise he is just keeping the Hurricanes on schedule every single play, every single drive. On his 21 throws that were released in 2.5 seconds or less, 15 of 21, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns. When he's seeing the field like this and he's just not, him and the offensive line are not allowing the pass rush to get there, we've said it over and over and over. He's one of the elite passers in the country.
And I'm looking at the other side of the ball, too, because Miami's defense was, once again, outstanding. This is one of the best defenses in college football. 89.6 defensive grade, and this team is just dominating in the trenches on both sides. Offensive line, like Dalton mentioned, defensive line, too. And we said in the preview, you mentioned it, Dalton, that this Florida State run concepts could give Miami's defensive line the one thing that could give them fits the rest of the year is these run concepts from Florida State, and they really did it in this game. A 90.2 run defense grade. They held the Seminoles to negative 0.078 EPA per run and less than 150 yards on the ground. This is a Florida State team that wants to run the hell out of the football, and they could not do it in this game. And yes, Florida State did score 19 points in the final 10 minutes, but before that, Miami was dominating them in this game and only allowed 3 points until, late in the fourth quarter of that game. 87.1 coverage grade. The secondary was outstanding too. 78.8 pass rush grade. I think right now, I would argue Ohio State has the best defense in the country, but Miami is not far behind right now.
No, but at the end of the day, after 3 quarters, this game was 28-3 against one of the most explosive offenses in the country. And I got to shout out there Miami's highest graded player here, Jacoby Thomas at safety, because again, this was a concern. This secondary was, okay, so they brought some transfers in. Is this going to be better? Thomas was outstanding. He was flying all over the place last night. 6 tackles, 3 stops, an interception, 2 pass breakups, a forced fumble that Florida State still managed to recover, and a sack, 93.1 coverage grade. If you're going to get this level of play, at least for the majority of games out of your secondary, and you're going to have a star play like this, like Jacoby Thomas, we've seen it from the corners as well. They got a good group of corners, even better than last year. This Miami team is positioned so well right now to make A, a run at the ACC title, B, the playoff, obviously, and C, maybe a run at a national championship.
Yeah, and I have to shout out once again Ruben Bain Jr., who I have been campaigning for the last couple weeks to be in the Heisman conversation, if not be the favorite right now. This guy is the most outstanding player in college football, and it is not close right now. Ruben Bain Jr., what this guy is doing in terms of our grading system, in terms of just what he's doing on the football field, how dominant he is historic stuff right now. 90.1 PFF grade in this game, 90.7 pass rush grade, 11 pressures in this game with 2 quarterback hits, 78.9 run defense grade with a stop. This guy should be the Heisman Trophy favorite right now, in my opinion. If you really want to give it out to the most outstanding player in the country, which is what it's supposed to go out to, Ruben Bain Jr. is the most outstanding player in college football. Now, will he win the award? I doubt it, right? Because it always goes to a quarterback or a guy who touches the ball a lot, like a receiver or a running back. It's never gone to an edge rusher before, but I think Ruben Bain Jr., man, what he's doing right now, he is the most outstanding player in the country. Dalton, now new #1 team in the country, Miami Hurricanes. Ooh. Now #1 after beating Florida. Ohio State moves down to #2. Georgia, #3. Oklahoma. Is Miami beating Florida.
Oh, boy.
26-7, the final score. #4, Miami taking down the Gators. Florida now falls to 1-3 on the season right now. Let's go over to Miami with their highest graded players. No shock here. Highest graded player, maybe the best player in college football the way he's playing right now, Ruben Bain Jr., 93.8 grade in this win for the Hurricanes. His partner in crime, Akeem Mesidor, has also had a great year. Another great game here, 83.3 grade for the edge rusher. Elijah Lofton, the tight end, 80.2. Charmer Brown with the 78.2 grade.
The highest graded football player is out there somewhere wondering. Not only is Ruben Bain the highest graded edge defender in the country, he is the highest graded football player in the country, offense or defense.
Start the Heisman campaign right now.
Honestly, I mean, if
we're talking like a Chase Young,
if there was any defensive player that had a case, it's Ruben Bain. Just unbelievable. Can I go through the other 10 drives here for the Florida Gators?
Please.
10 drives, 41 plays they ran. Got 61 yards. They had 80 yards on the touchdown drive, 61 yards on their other 10 drives. Negative 0.715 EPA per play, which I don't even know what to say about it. 0 explosive plays outside of the 1 touchdown drive. And if I take out that drive, the other 10 drives, again, 41 plays. We're running 1.5 yards a play, 1.5 yards a play. A 39 grade on offense as a team. 39. This Florida Gator offense, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. And Miami's one of the
Gators
best.
don't play Miami anymore.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. And Miami's one of the
Gators
best.
don't play Miami anymore. I think right now, and I'll get to it right now, this Miami defensive line is completely unblockable. I don't think there's a single offensive line in college football.
You might be right on
have
that
a
one.
chance. The pass blocking grades in this game, Miami, 88.3. Florida, maybe a top 5 offensive line in the country, 2.3 pass blocking grade as a team against Miami in this one. I've got bad news for anyone in the ACC and anyone in college football right now. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can block this front four for Miami. This is easily the best defensive line in college football, because I went into this game, and I still think Florida has a really good offensive line. I still think so. Florida entered this game with the 3rd best pass blocking grade in college football, 16th in run blocking grade. Miami made Florida, had the worst pass blocking grade in the history of PFF by over 24 points. It's the worst pass blocking grade by a team all season. It's the worst pass blocking grade by a team since 2020, when Kansas had a 0.0 against Oklahoma. Dalton, Miami got a pressure on 79% of dropbacks in this game with a 93% pass rush win rate. This Miami defensive line is the best unit in college football. Not the best D-line in the country. It is the best unit in college football. And if Miami is going to win a national title, which looks more and more likely every single week, they're going to win because of their offensive line and because of their defensive line. And the Hurricanes on offensive line, 5 pressures allowed on 31 dropbacks. The Hurricanes right now, Miami, the most dominant team in America in the trenches, which is why you're seeing Carson Beck, who is so deadly from a clean pocket, why I think he could be the Heisman Trophy winner this year, because Miami's offensive line is giving him those clean pockets, and I mean nobody in America even has a prayer of blocking Miami's defensive line.
I don't know who's going to do it. I mean, constantly. It was an absolute mess, and they're going to make every team they play with.
And again, what I still think is a really good Florida offensive line. I still think so, and it still have a top 10 pass blocking grade in the country.
And I'll tell you something. Look at the way offensively that Notre Dame has bounced back the last couple of weeks. Look at. I know it's USF and they're playing whoever. Look at the way USF bounced back this past week.
Yeah.
This is a Miami problem. This is a real. If you're playing Miami, I don't actually know right now for especially these 2 defensive ends. I don't know what the answer is.
We were so after the Notre Dame game, and we were like, dude, this Notre Dame offensive line is gonna be. Miami's defensive line is really good, but Notre Dame's offensive line maybe is way worse than we thought. It's just Miami's defensive line is just freaking good. It's just so unbelievably good. Like I said, it's the best unit in college football. Real quick, I'll go to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hey Roo the Guru, aka Soccer God, Studio One Law Productions. Hey man, make sure y'all join Rock Boys Football. Them boys do good content. And I was watching their video here and I noticed something. Miami still stuck at 13. The unlucky number 13. But remember last year. Yeah, remember last year, 2024, week 16. They stuck us right here at number 13, dropped us a spot. Remember the lucky number 13? No floors on the 13, no 13th floor. The unlucky number 13, man. And then you got this little post over here. College football even poll, week 14, Oregon, Miami ride. Miami did not ride. As a matter of fact, Vanderbilt catapulted. They flip-flop spots with Utah and Vanderbilt and kept Miami in the middle at the number 13 spot. And conveniently, they keep 3 teams in between Notre Dame so they don't group them with the group of 3 that they claim. This group of 3, this group of 3, and this group of 3. Then this group of 3. And come on, man. Idiotic. And these ranking lists is courtesy of ESPN.com, college football rankings. And this year, week 4, Notre Dame 0-2, number 24. They even ranked higher than 3-0 USC, 3-0 Missouri, 3-0 Auburn, 3-0 Vandy, 3-0 Indy. Okay. All those are in the same bucket, but they're down here in these groupings. And see, in 2024, was this ever the case? Was there ever an 0-2 team ranked in? No. We got 1-1 Clemson. Okay. Let's go back to 2023. Have we ever had an 0-2 ranked team in the top 25? Not here. Not in 2023. Let's go 2022. Courtesy of ESPN.com, ladies and gentlemen. You can go back and look at this yourself. Nobody's ranked with no wins yet in the top 25, 2022. Same thing. Let's go to 2021. Let's see. 2021. Nope. Kansas State 3-0, number 20. Okay, we got some 2-1 ranked teams. They got 2 victories though, man. When have we seen a winless team ever be ranked in the top 25? Okay, Louisville 1-1. That's about the closest we're gonna get. Looks like, and that's the COVID year. These are COVID years. 2019. Everybody undefeated in the bottom. Okay, you got Washington 2-1. 2018. I don't think it ever happened, bro. I'm gonna just be honest. I've never seen it before. Michigan State 1-1. Okay, you got 1 loss team, but everybody to get a victory, at least get a victory. I've never seen nobody rank without having a victory under their belt. Nobody. 2016. We're getting close to 10 years and this never has happened. Keep going, let me see. Okay, this is the closest we ever seen this happen here. What year this is? 2016. You got Oklahoma. They dropped the 11th spot, so apparently they were 1-1. And they were at number 11. No, at number 16 or number 14. They dropped the 11th spot. Okay. They were probably above Miami, who was 3-0 at the time. They dropped them 11 spots. Texas, they dropped 10 spots. That's interesting. Why would they drop them 11? They don't lost 2 spots. They didn't want to drop them out of the top 25 apparently. But they dropped 10 spots with just 1 loss. And then Ole Miss dropped 4 spots with. They were 1-1 already, so they must have started out really high. This is the closest it ever happened, 2016. But everybody had a victory. 2015. Let me see. Nope. No, not close. 2016 is the closest to it ever happening, but it hasn't happened in the last 10 years. Nope, 1-1 Clemson. This is the second time I've seen Clemson get the benefit of the doubt. 1-1, still being ranked in the top 25. 2013. Week 4. Wisconsin 2-1, man. They got 2 victories, man. I don't know how it happened. Like, how did they rank Notre Dame 0-2, still in the top 25, and now they leapfrog us? It hasn't happened, man. 2012, 2011. I'm about to get into non-modern. Look at 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, man. You gotta be, no, man. No, Notre Dame. How? Okay, Miami 1 year. As soon as they lose, they dropped them from 17 to 19. Iowa dropped 9 spots. That'd be interesting how certain teams drop more than others. It hasn't happened in over 15 years. How do you get an 0-2 team like Notre Dame ranked in the top? Shoot, in the coaches poll, they number 21. And the coaches, which coaches get the vote? I'm kind of intrigued. They rank number 21 in the coaches poll, man. Good gracious. Good gracious. So, explain to me how Vanderbilt's so far down. This is crazy. So let's look at one more thing. Okay. Week 5, 2025. We number 2 in the polls.
The Miami loss helps teams from the SEC. The Miami loss helps teams from the SEC. The Miami loss helps teams from the SEC. The Miami loss helps teams from the SEC.
You know me, like I'm always going to favor the SEC. You know me, like I'm always going to favor the SEC.
Capable of beating. I think Miami fans are really up in arms, and I totally get that. And I don't blame them for feeling that way, but the reality is every single one of those teams controlled their own destiny 2 weeks ago. And while Alabama dropped the ball, so did Miami in 2 of the last 3 games of the regular season. The teams that Miami beat haven't really held up their end of the bargain. Duke and Louisville sit on the outside right now, and there is not a team that Miami has beaten this year that is currently ranked in the committee's top 25. That is what killed Miami.
Anyone that is a fan of, that cares about, that lives in the area of, that is any way indirectly or directly connected to the Atlantic Coast Conference, it's not a little upset. It's not somewhere on the upset spectrum from a little upset to furious and throwing things. I don't know how you're not after watching what happened to Miami, which is weird because normally I don't care about Miami.
Notice that you will not see Miami. Because notice that you will not see Miami. Because notice that you will not see Miami. Because notice that you will not see Miami. Because
you know me, like I'm always going to favor the SEC. You know me, like I'm always going to favor the SEC. You know me, like I'm always going to favor the SEC.
Georgia could end up right here since they're.
You notice you will not see Miami. You hear that? They need to stop the bullshit.
Well, Alabama is a brand. Well, Alabama is a brand, and this is a product, and this is a product, and this is a product, and that's also in play here, and that's also in play here. And Alabama is in, and Miami right now is out. And Alabama is in, and Miami right now is out. And Alabama is in, and Miami right now is out.
Look at these headlines. Both of these losses were orchestrated to pull what they're about to pull. And we've seen Ohio State get the better of the deal when they get a home game, all the revenues, and an easier path. My oh my. All right. Miami number 19. SMU wasn't even ranked. That's what hurt SMU. Okay. Texas A&M, Tennessee, Clemson, Missouri, Florida State, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas, Oregon. See, they had them already assumed to be the best team. All right, let's jump to week 2. See how Georgia, everybody won pretty much. So, okay, Clemson got beat. See how they penalized Clemson. 11 spots for that Georgia loss. Okay, that's how much they rated that Georgia loss. Bad loss in you, Clemson. Let's see how they do week 3. Okay. Boom. Oh, Notre Dame lost. Okay. Notre Dame, they knocked it down 13 spots. Okay. Which I think should have been a worse loss, or they should have fell further than Clemson. You get what I'm drifting? Because at least Clemson fell to the number 1 team in the nation. But y'all knocked them 11 spots. Okay, you knocked Notre Dame 13. I can't be mad. Let's see how they jump up. Back they're down to 18 now. Whoopie do. And that really hurt. Texas leaping. Okay, I don't know why. Okay. At least they dropped Oregon a little bit, because they had those close games. Should have dropped a little bit more, in my opinion. But, okay, they crept them up 1 spot. Slowly, 1 spot a week. That's all they gotta do. That's all they gotta do. I don't know who they beat. I should go look at it in week 4. Okay, boom. Draw 13 spots. You beat Purdue. Oh, you moved up 1. Okay. Not too big of a deal. Miami moving up. Okay. Week 5. Watch how they just creep them boys up slowly but surely. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Okay, we're getting some respect. 4-0, we got over that hump. We moved up. Oregon moved up. Notre Dame moved up. They moving them up 1 spot a week. They know what they were doing. I want to see when they overtake us. Week 6. Alabama now jumped up 3 spots. Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Georgia. Why they only fell 3 spots? Why? Week 5, man. Who did they lose to? I gotta go see. Because they should. Okay. But Alabama smoked them, man. I wish they gave them credit for coming back in that game. Okay. I won't be mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Oh. Now they jumped them 2 spots. Why all of a sudden Notre Dame get 2 spots? Because they beat Miami of Ohio. That was slick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they beat Louisville. They gave them good credit for Louisville. But they only won by 7 now. They only won by 7. Okay, keep that in mind. Miami beat Louisville by 7 as well. Okay, week 7. Number 6. Texas, Ohio State, Oregon. They keep Oregon back up in there. Penn State, Georgia. Why is Georgia higher than us? Why? When Alabama just lost and you dropped them 6 spots. So you're trying to say Alabama really wasn't worthy. You're saying they really wasn't worthy. You dropped them 6 spots. You didn't drop Georgia that far when they lost to Alabama. But now all of a sudden, because it was a bad loss. Well, why is Georgia ahead of Miami? That's the first flaw in your equation. You done dropped Notre Dame 3 more spots. Beating Louisville. You gave them great credit.
But you give us a heartache. Okay, we had a 6-0. We had a bye. Georgia still and Ohio State ahead of us. When you drop Oregon down when they was struggling with Idaho and Boise State, but you crept them back in and you giving Ohio State credit by only dropping them 2 spots. Look at them now. They lost the mission. They don't have an offense. And I saw that before these lying rankings. I saw it way before. Finally, you bring SMU in the game. You got BYU underrated. Notre Dame. Oh, they dropped the spot. Only because some other teams, they didn't want to drop below them. And they want to put them higher. That's the only reason. This is fake already. Week 9. Not a number 1. Not a number 1. Not a number 1. Georgia should be number 2. Ohio State should be number 3. And Texas should be number 5. Right here is why Miami is being screwed. Not at the end, because of the fake and lying rankings. Right here, we should be the number 2 team in the nation, or maybe number 3. But they're lying on us. You're finally giving Clemson a little bit of credit and giving them a chance to get back in the team. But you're going to penalize them for a Louisville loss later on. Indiana at 13 is a travesty. They liars, man. Week 10. Week 10. We 8-0. Why ain't we number 2 in the nation? You see? You see? They need us to lose right now. The Tennessee lost, Texas lost, and they done crept Notre Dame at number 8 right behind us. Come on, Texas A&M lost. Alabama done lost their 2nd game, and they're number 14 right now. But they're already climbing. How are you already climbing them? You're not even giving Pittsburgh 7-0, SMU, Army, nobody a chance. You're assuming already. Week 11, 9-0. Look at this. We causing a problem because they know we should be number 2 in the nation right now. We causing a problem. Indiana should be number 3. Oregon, Miami, Indiana. But they're liars. Penn State lost. They're liars. Drop them, okay, no movements. I don't know. Week 12. Alright. Now, we took the loss for the home team. Drop us 5 spots. 5 spots. 5 spots. And everybody else get to climb. Everybody Notre Dame, that's when Notre Dame jumped us. That Georgia Tech loss was for Notre Dame to get in. And they was afraid. Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia with 2 losses. Texas A&M, 2 losses. 2 losses. Drop Clemson from 9 to 10. Man, let me go back and look at that. I didn't see that, Clemson. It's all lose. What happened in the week? I don't know why they ain't had in our trend right there. I gotta go back and look at what happened to Clemson.
before they lost, so they were number 11. They dropped them before they even lost. And then they lost, I guess, to Louisville. That Klein Louisville. Man, this is the travesty. Week 13. Number 8, we move up 1 spot. But they let Alabama jump 3 spots over us. Notre Dame jumped 2 more spots. Ole Miss jumped 2 spots. Georgia jumped 2 spots. And we jumped a measly 1. And we 9-1. It gave us a big deal, I guess, for losing to Georgia Tech. But what happened to Georgia? They barely beat them. Georgia barely beat Georgia Tech. Alright, fine. We moved up 2 spots. Notre Dame still climbing. They making sure they stay ahead of us. Now they got it like they want to. They need us to lose another game though. And that's what happened. It's no other explanation. No other explanation. And they trying to let South Carolina at number 15 just because they beat a number 12 Clemson. Now they deserve to be in the playoffs. Y'all got to be kidding me. Y'all got to be kidding me. And they dropped us 6 spots. South Carolina shouldn't be ahead of us. Arizona shouldn't be ahead of us. Alabama shouldn't be ahead of us. That's just the point blank period. I argue Tennessee and Ohio State shouldn't be ahead of us. Or Georgia. Matter of fact, if it was a real ranking, truth be told, it'd be Oregon, Penn State, Texas, Indiana, Notre Dame. Shit. I'll put Miami, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State. I'm sorry. The 3 lost Alabama. I'm sorry. You fall short. South Carolina, you fall short. I can't believe the committee would do it. I don't believe they're going to do it. If they don't put Miami in, it's a travesty.
Bottom nationally in penalties. But that's only half the story. The bigger story is the disparity. How often their opponents don't get flagged. If you're a Miami fan watching these past few years, you've probably been thinking this. But the numbers Manny Navarro posted today back it up. Miami's been flagged more than 30 times above their opponents this season. That's the biggest penalty gap in the entire country. 30 plus more calls against them. Not coincidence, that's clearly a pattern. Now nobody's saying Miami plays perfect football. Every team holds, every team hits late. But at this rate, compared to other teams with similar aggression and physicality, it doesn't add up.
Penalties have been an issue, and early in this game, Dave and Dusty, they're rearing their head yet again.
13 against Florida State in the last game, 3 already here tonight, and none on Louisville.
You'll hear me talk about narratives a lot. They shape what we think, how we think, and what we believe. And depending on which ones we choose to nourish, to repeat, to defend, to build our identities around, they start to feel like truth. The same goes for teams. Miami's been living under a narrative for decades. The bad boys, the villains, the team that broke the rules and broke opponents. That image stuck. So even decades later, refs don't just see orange and green, they feel that story. The one that says, if it's Miami, it's probably a foul. This part of Miami's brand has been burned into college football's DNA. So whether the refs know it or not, it probably affects how they call the game. Psychologists call this implicit bias. It's the brain's tendency to fill in the blanks using past patterns. So if a ref expects Miami to be reckless, then any borderline play, a shove, a grab, a late hit, feels like confirmation. It reinforces the old narrative. And the opposite happens too. A team with a clean image, a blue blood brand, gets the benefit of the doubt. Same shove, no flag. Same hold, ignored. Because their default assumption is innocence. Miami's is guilt.
Excellent block. One thing he does off the football, see him come down here, gonna get the initial block, pancake him,
and then whenever he gets up, kind of stands over the top of him, and it draws a flag from the official.
It's not that the refs are targeting Miami, it's like at work. If someone's known for being late, you notice every time they stroll in at 8:05. But when someone else does it, you shrug it off. Same action, different lens. Like hearing a song so often that you start humming it without realizing it. You don't even have to believe it consciously for it to guide how you see them. 60 plus penalties, 500 plus yards, a 30 call margin. You don't get that big a gap by chance. You get it when human judgment meets reputation. So yeah, Miami commits penalties, but not at this rate. Not compared to the rest of college football. The flags aren't for just what Miami does, they're for what people think Miami is.
4 penalties on Miami.
Ooh, I don't know, Dave.
No fair catch signal to me. But they called it. Penalty on Miami. Back in a moment.
Game by game comparison. Now, the Notre Dame game really touches me because they're ranked number 9 and we're ranked number 15, and we beat them head to head. Same amount of loss. Can't tell me this is not a biased situation. They only get 5 penalty yards for 15 yards in our game. The other game, they get 13 for 86 versus Texas A&M, 7 for 75 versus Purdue, 11 for 112 at NC State. But yet somehow, against Miami, the undisciplined team, Notre Dame suddenly find its composure. Man, get out of here, man. Miami USF, man. This is real ridiculous, bro. Got penalized 9 for 69 yards, bro. And South Florida only got 2 penalties. Against everybody else, South Florida averaged 7 to 9 penalties a game. 7 versus Boise, 9 versus South Carolina State, 8 versus Charlotte. Come on, man. But in Miami, they only get 2. Get out of here, man. ESPN NBA News. I did get a lot of these stats from ESPN. And ESPN don't like Miami, bro. I'm just going to be real, ESPN. Y'all don't like us. I ain't going to slander y'all because I love y'all products. I use them. But y'all don't like us, man. It's apparent. Miami versus Florida. 6 for 30. Okay, they calm down. But Florida only gets 3. Come on, bro. Florida has drawn double-digit penalty against nearly everybody else. But against South Florida, the team that only got 2 penalties against us, they get 9 for 75, South Florida does. And Florida gets 11 for 103. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me both of those teams got their least amount of penalties against Miami suddenly, and then all of a sudden they play each other and they just don't know how to play disciplined football? No, bro. Come on, man. FSU, we get penalized 13 for 114. FSU 5 for 45. Come on, man. FSU averaged 8 to 10 penalties in almost every other game. 8 against Bama, 7 against A&M, 8 against Stanford. But in Miami, they're Saints. Oh, let's not talk about Louisville. Louisville, 6 for 64, not bad. Everywhere, even here, the yardage difference is small. You know, looks kind of innocent. But the pattern is the same. More whistles against Miami. Louisville regularly get 8 to 12 penalties, man, against other ACC opponents, but their game against Miami, half the amount. And Stanford would trip me out, 2 for 10. I was like, oh, they smart. Those are smart guys. They're smart. Man, Stanford committed 8 to 11 penalties in the game against Hawaii, BYU, and SMU, but they only get 2 flags against Miami. I was thinking Stanford is a smart school, but no. They got 11 against UNC, 11 against San Jose State, 10 against that. Come on, man. But somehow only managed to get 2 against Miami? Bro, this stop. Same thing with SMU. This is a pattern trend. They average 7 to 9 penalties per game elsewhere. But when they line up against the Miami Hurricane, They get flagged half the time. This is a consistent thing, man. Go ahead and read the article, but I want to jump to these opponents, man. I did a chart here. Did the chart with the penalties here. And right here, their opponents.